Alright, hello. In this video, I'll be doing Advent of Code Day 4. I'll be doing the problems and then explaining the solutions. I have a GitHub repository for my code. It's in Python. All these videos will be in Python. I'll put the link down in the description. You can also see previous days and future days if this is over. There's a playlist for all the videos in the description. So, yeah, please check that out. Yeah, I'm just going to be doing these. Cool. Okay. I've actually looked at this problem last night, just to like get a feel for it, so I can think about it maybe like overnight. But yeah, I'm also trying to work on a program to automate these videos, so I don't have to edit them. But okay, let's just get on with the problem. Okay, day four, passport processing. You arrive at the airport only to realize that you grabbed your North Pole credentials instead of your passport. While these documents are extremely similar, North Pole credentials aren't issued by a country and therefore aren't actually valid documentation for travel in most of the world. Okay, so most of these problems, like a lot of these, I feel like they are referring back to previous years, which I haven't done. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't need to do the previous years to understand these, but it's something to note. It seems like you're not the only one having problems, though. A very long line has formed for the automatic passport scanners, and the delay could upset your travel itinerary. Due to some questionable network security, you realize you might be able to solve both of these problems at the same time. The automatic passport scanners are slowed because they're having trouble detecting which passports have all required fields. The expected fields are as follows, and then they give like eight fields. Passport data is validated in batch files, your puzzle input. Each passport is represented by a sequence of key value pairs separated by spaces or new lines. Passports are separated by blank lines, and then they give an example of our input. The first passport is valid. All 8 fields are present. The second passport is invalid. It is missing HGT, the height field. Okay, and then it explains which ones are valid and which ones are not. So basically, we just need to make sure that all the fields are present given this format. So I think this problem is really just like an implementation thing. Like you're reading input, it's testing how you can read input. So shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so let's get on with it. While I'm solving the problem, I'm actually gonna put a cut here, and then after I'm done, I'll explain it. Okay, so we actually have our answer for part 1 now. We have 264. Hopefully that's right. I'm not sure if it's gonna be right. Hey, that's right. Okay, so I think now I should explain why this actually works. Okay, so basically we have this big long input, and wait 1 second. And with this input, we know that passports are separated by double new lines. And then, so we basically just split all the passports into double new lines, and then we have a passport. Each passport could be separated, the fields in each passport could be separated by spaces or new lines, and that makes it a little bit more troublesome. But what we can do is Python actually has a regular expression thing, which allows you to split not just by a single substring. If you're familiar with the like string.split method in Python, you can also split by different strings given a regular expression, and regular expressions are actually pretty useful. I would suggest you look them up if you're not familiar with them already. I think they're pretty useful. I'll put a link down to some resource in the description probably. Okay, so we split based on either space or new line because that's what the fields are separated by. And I think just to give an example, I will print out all the result after you split it by this regular expression, either by space or new line. So we can see that they are now split up into each field. I know this text is a bit small, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so we can see that the fields are now contained inside a list, and after they're in the list, it's actually much easier to process these. So what we can do is for every single field in the list, we can take the substring that is before the colon, and that is the, I guess, field value, not value, the field key. And we just remove that key from a set of the set of required fields. And then if all the field keys are in there, then afterwards we should have an empty key list. But if it has one remaining, it should be CID because we're allowed to keep CID. Otherwise, we need it to be 0. So basically what we do is just we have a list of all the required fields and we just remove them as we see them. And then at the end, we want them to be empty or only CID is left. And you could do it in more, you could do it in a different way, like adding it to the list instead, but this is what I did. Yeah, and then what I did was I also wrapped this inside a function so that it's easier, so that if you're just given one passport, you can evaluate it, and then you just do it for all the passports. That just makes it a little bit less confusing, the logic. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to part 2. And I'm also going to cut here. Actually, no, I'm explaining this first. Okay, part 2. The line is moving more quickly now, but you overhear airport security talking about how passports with invalid data are getting through. Better add some data validation quick. You can continue to ignore the CID field, but each other field has strict rules about what values are valid for automatic validation. Birth year is 4 digits, issue year is 4 digits, expiration year is 4 digits. Height is a number either followed by CM or IN. Okay, hair color should be... God, okay, so what this looks like is it looks like regular expressions. So, okay, hair color. So it gives all these requirements. I'm going to write this, and then I will... Okay, wait, hang on. Okay, yeah, I'm going to write this out, and then I'm going to explain it afterwards. You're probably going to need regular expressions for this, or if you're not, it's going to be a lot harder, but you can still do it. Afterwards, I'll do a quick overview of what regular expressions are, and then how to write these. I think this is a good example of how to do it. I just realized that I actually wrote that in the 4.2 file, which is technically incorrect, and I know a lot of you were probably like screaming at me through the screen, but okay, that's fine. I'll just paste it into the 4.1 and then modify this. Okay, so we have an answer, and our answer is 224. I have a feeling this is incorrect. It's right. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we thought it was probably going to work because 224 was less than 264, which was our first answer. So this is going to take a little bit more effort to explain. But you know, I want to be a good solution explainer. So I'm going to go through most of the details. Okay, so regular expressions. This is just a brief overview. You should probably go over a course or some kind of tutorial. This is not in depth. So a regular expression is basically a pattern or string such that it can match other strings or not. So I guess this is kind of hard to explain. So if you you just need to know a regular expression is a string. It's also called a pattern that can either match or not match other strings. And this can be used to filter out stuff. So what we do is I made a lot of if-else statements, just like this huge thing, to check if a value is allowed for a certain key, for a given key. So first, birth year. Wait, hang on. Okay, I gotta open up the puzzle again. Okay, so birth year has to be 4 digits, at least 1920, at most 202. So we just take the integer value. We don't use regular expressions for this. We just convert it to an integer and then check that it's within the range. For issue year, we do the same thing. Expiration year, we also do the same thing. For height, we need to check that the last 2 characters of the value are either IN or CM. And if they're not, we return false. And we do that for the same thing up here. If the last 2 digits, if the last 2 characters are inches, then we do basically the same thing that we did for all these, like issue year, birth year, expiration year. We just check that the value before the last 2 characters is within a certain range. Also, what I did here was I assumed that all the inputs were valid and that they they were actually integers, and if they wouldn't, it would throw an error. But I didn't get any errors, so it's good. We didn't have to check for that. If we did though, we could just put a try catch and then catch, like there's an error, just return false or something. But we didn't have to deal with that. So, okay, and then if it's centimeters, we just do another range. Okay, for hair color, this is where the regular expressions come in. So, hair color has to be 0 to 9 or A to F, and then it has to be 6 characters with a pound sign at the beginning. So, this is the regular expression. So you can see we have a pound sign at the beginning, and this just matches any other string that has a pound sign at the beginning. I mean, it requires the value to have a pound sign at the beginning. And then we have this little group that's enclosed in parentheses. And then basically what's inside this group is 2 ranges, and it can be either of these ranges. That's what this little pipe character means. It means you can take either the left or the right value. So to the left is the range 0 to 9, so these are all the digits, and then on the right is the range A to F, so all the characters A to F. So inside this group that's wrapped into parentheses, it matches any character that is in the range 0 to 9 or A to F. So it matches any of those characters. And then this curly brace, 6, means that it takes the previous character, which is 0 to 9 or A to F, repeated 6 times. So it just matches that to the value, and then it sees if the value fits that format or pattern. And if not, then it's not valid, return false. Okay, so you see where this is going, right? For eye color, it turns out for the pipe character, we can have as many of those as we want. And we could just do a list, check if the value is within the list, but regular expressions are fun. So we just check if the value matches any of these sequences of characters. Okay, for passport ID, it needs to be 9 digits. So, as we can see, this 0 to 9 matches any digit, and then it has to be duplicated 9 times. And if it doesn't match that, then it's invalid. But if it passes all of these checks, then we know it's valid. CID, we don't have to check for that. But, yeah, regular expressions are fun. I'll put links to resources in the description. Okay, how long have we been recording for? Oh, 12 minutes. Okay, this video is going to be a bit longer. So I don't want this to stretch on for too long. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or DM me on Discord. I'll put my tag in the description, or you can email me. I'll also put my email in the description. I don't know if that's allowed, but you can also check out my about page. It has all my contact information. So thanks for watching. Hope this video was clear. Please also give me feedback. I want to make these as high quality as possible. And thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with day 5.